I call a meeting of the Board of Sewer Commissioners, Town of Raynham to order at 6:01 on Thursday, March 11th. First order of business, approval of minutes. As you can see, our fellow commissioner, Mr. Kelleher, is out of state today, so we will conduct business in a good fashion. Approval of minutes. Do I have you had a chance to read them?
I did. Everything looked good to me.
All right, so I need a motion to accept.
So move.
I will second the motion. If there being no further discussion, did you notice any corrections there, Mr.
No,
Superintendent?
everything was good.
Everything was fine? Then all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Correspondence.
And we do have correspondence. So this is a letter from the Raynham Life Care Center over on South Street East. This was actually a response from a letter that I sent them back in, I believe it was October. October 26th. So we were doing some manhole repairs over on South Street East, and if you look further on into the packet that I gave you, it might be the very last page on the packet I gave you. There was a manhole out on South Street East that the Raynham Life Care Center discharges into, and it's full of debris. So looking further into it, the Raynham Life Care Center has a sewer pump, ejector pump on their property. And previous to that sewer ejector pump, they also have what they call a bar rack in their channel before it enters the pump chamber. And if you look further on your packet, you'll see pictures of that and the condition that it was in. So what that bar rack is supposed to do is catch debris, rags, and stuff like that prior to it entering the pump chamber and then being discharged to our system. So again, back in October, I sent them a letter requesting that they repair that bar rack and set up some sort of a maintenance program to have it cleaned. And basically this correspondence letter sent to me on February 24th, I'll read it to you, is a response to that work. Again, addressed from Walter Mattis, Director of Plant Operations at Life Care Center, to the Commission. And it says this is to inform the Commission that we have completed the work in our septic tanks as of 2/24/21. New metal galvanized grates were manufactured and installed to capture excess debris. We apologize for the time frame of this work. It was a process that we started immediately between calling companies, receiving quotes, getting approvals, manufacturing, and snowstorms. It took longer than anticipated. We'd like to inform you as well that we will continue to have Bay State Sewage Disposal Incorporated continue to pump the tank every 6 weeks to ensure proper function and to avoid any excess debris ejected to the main line on South Street East. I am sending you actual photos of the grates installed. Please feel free to contact me with any questions and concerns. And you can see the black and white photos. That was their photos sent to me as what they have done. So they made some aluminum, them are actually made out of aluminum racks, bar racks.
Now, the whole purpose of that is to take anything other than the normal waste that you anticipate in the sewer line.
Right, so with a facility like that, they may discharge a lot of heavy rags, which would get sucked up.
A lot of other than
Yes.
natural dispositions,
Yeah.
yes.
So as part of their connection process, which was back in '93 or '94, that was one of the requirements. They install a bar rack system like they had.
So this is an intercepting line.
Yes. Yep.
And then the rest of it continues through to the sewer, to an ejection pump to
Yep.
the sewer.
And that pumps up to us, correct. Yep.
New one looks nice.
Yeah, they did a nice job on it.
Yeah, because they can open it up and get all the
Yep.
material out.
Yep, they did a good job.
What they need to do is to stop it where it originates.
Right, yep.
Don't throw the plastic gloves down, and don't throw the old plastic covering
Right.
down.
Does it look like you put wire mesh over it to try to patch it?
Yes. Yep, the original, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work too well.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
that was
Any
one.
other correspondence?
That was it.
Yes, no, oh, this is good. Well, Superintendent's Report.
Yeah, for March 11th, 2021, Phase 7, Contracts 1 and 2. Hard copy as-built plans have now been received for these two contracts. All submittals for wet well modifications at Church Street Pumping Station have now been approved. CJP has started mobilizing their equipment to the job site. Excavating will start on the 15th and 16th, being Monday and Tuesday of next week. The wet well structure will be delivered and installed on the 17th, which is Wednesday. Backfill and cleanup to follow on the 18th and 19th.
Is that their front end loader park?
Yes. Yeah. Taunton River easement stabilization.
This is right on the 369
Yep,
Church Street?
right in the area of Joey Rivers. Yep. Taunton River easement stabilization, the order of conditions has now been received. Those will be recorded at the registry of deeds soon. The pre-construction notification has been submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers, as mentioned at our last meeting, and we are still waiting comments and approval from them with hopes to put this project out to bid late spring for a summer project schedule. Again, as mentioned in the last meeting, it all relies on how fast they get back to us. And I think I mentioned last month rather that it could take 3 months for them to get back to us. Katy Drive easement, nothing new to report on this project. Waiting for the spring to proceed with the completion of some minor punch list items. I will be reaching out to the contractor soon to obtain a schedule for when they will be addressing the punch list items and completing the project. Depending on the weather and the spring we have, this may link it till May or June. If we have a wet spring, they may have to wait till that time to actually get back out in there. Biannual billing. Biannual billing for the period of July 1st to December 31st, 2020 has now been completed. The confirmed total amount to be billed out for this cycle is $1,403,003. Bills were mailed out this past Tuesday and should have been received by our customers soon, if not already. I know I did receive mine today. Payment due date on these bills is April 8th. Town meeting articles. The sewer department articles to be submitted for a special and annual town meeting will be as presented. And I have these here for you. Again, sewer articles to be submitted by a special and annual town meeting will be as presented. With the commission's approval, this info will be forwarded to town administrator to be placed on the warrants. In speaking with Mike King this week, he mentioned a possibility that the special warrant articles might also be included as part of the annual town meeting. I'll be waiting word on that. Pre-town meeting is scheduled for May 11th at Town Hall. That's a Tuesday night. Annual town meeting is scheduled for May 17th at Raynham Middle School, and that's a Monday night. If you want some explanation on the articles, the first article is our operating budget, and we discussed that last month. The operating budget amount is $2,931,003. So that'll be one of their articles. Another article will be to see if the town will vote to appropriate $533,185 from the Betterment Reserve Fund for sewer construction debt, or take any action relative thereto. Another article would be to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $47,200 from the sewer maintenance facility debt account for the annual payment on the maintenance facility debt, or take any action relative thereto. If you remember last year, we put $100,000 into that maintenance facility debt. We pulled out $48,200. Right now, the account sits with $51,800.
That used to come out of retained earnings.
Right.
And we cleaned it up at the treasurer and set up a separate account.
Yep. So on the second page would be the special articles, which again, when speaking with Mike King, this might be all presented on one article, on one warrant rather, I'm sorry. So this article reads, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $282,509 from sewer enterprise retained earnings for the expected payment to be due to the city of Taunton for Raynham's capital share of Taunton's wastewater treatment plant in main pumping station rehab projects, to take any action relative thereto. The next article would be to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $100,000 from sewer enterprise retained earnings into the sewer maintenance facility debt account, or take any action relative thereto. Again, this would be to recharge that sewer maintenance
Yeah,
facility.
that's the second contribution of the three we planned on giving
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
So this time next year, that, the mortgage on this will be completely funded and separate. And the accounting will be more up to snuff.
Yeah, so, speaking with Mike, the outstanding principal is $230,000. Outstanding interest is $22,500 for a total outstanding of $252,500. And then the fiscal year 22 payment would be $47,200. And balance after that would be $205,300. So we would be putting,
Outstanding,
yes, after,
unpaid on,
correct.
on 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, 2, they just got the bill.
Yeah.
But there's still 250,000
It'll be
outstanding?
$205,300 after the fiscal year 22 payment. It'll be $205,000. So yes, $252,000 currently right now. If you remember, it was $300 last year when we took the 100 and put it into the account.
You're talking about the mortgage
Yep,
on this property?
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I thought you were talking about unpaid revenue.
No, no.
Okay.
Any questions?
No?
No. So again, with the approval from the board, I would be giving that to town administrator, Graham Waters.
What, you need approval of us to submit those?
Probably not, I'm just making sure everything looks correct to you.
I think that we gave you the charge to do that.
Yeah.
It's an annual
Yep.
part of the parcel.
Want to move on?
I think that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's normal procedure.
Okay. All right, moving on with the superintendent's report. Bassett Knoll subdivision, phase 1 and 2. This past week, the developer performed jetting and vectoring as well as cammering of the sewer main on this new development. This was one of the remaining punch list requirements that we had for this project. Results of this procedure verified no issues within the subdivision. Mill Street culvert replacement. I recently attended a meeting put together by Ed Buckley on Mill Street at the Pine Swamp Brook culvert. This culvert is in design phase to be replaced. Present was the Raynham Channel Water District, Eversource Gas, Ed Buckley, his design engineer from Russell & Sampson, Dan Holmes from Ty and Bond, and myself. The discussion was related to the coordination and placement of the utilities crossing at this location. As part of the Phase 7 project, we placed a temporary 6-inch gravity line around the existing culvert. This will be removed and replaced with an 8-inch with addition of 2 manholes. So one on
And
each
they're
side.
doing that installation,
They're doing that, correct. Yep.
right?
Yeah, and so we put a temporary in. We held off on Mill Street to the very end of our project, hoping that maybe Ed, for any reason, might be able to get this done prior to us getting there, but it never did, so we put a temporary line around it. And right now,
And if you remember, I offered to get that included into our contract with our contractor, except that there wasn't enough money in our funding to do that when we found out how expensive it was going to be, so. It would have been in if it was part of ours, okay.
Department operations, as mentioned in last month's meeting, Verizon started converting the copper telephone lines over to fiber optics cable. 12 pumping stations have now been converted, those being Dean Street, Locust Street, Church Street, River Street, Riverbrook Drive, Old King Street, Alexandria, Judson Hollow, Berry Hill, Whippool Drive, Paramount, and the Walmart pumping station. We have one employee who tested positive for COVID last week. He is currently quarantining and can return to work on Monday. I had another employee that had concern of contact with that other employee who has also been out and was tested this past Tuesday. He actually sent me his result today. It was a negative test, so originally I had on here that he'd be returning Monday as well, but he's actually coming back tomorrow. And that is the employee that tested negative. IT services, with the retirement of Tim Graybars, the town offices are utilizing MX Consulting, of whom I had a phone conversation with today. They will be coming to the office to do an inventory of our equipment and then give us a cost estimate on the services. MX mentioned a maintenance contract, which would be a monthly fee. Tim was on an hourly basis, meaning if we had a problem, he would charge us for just the time to resolve the issue. I will be asking MX Consulting if they also offer that type of service as well and get quotes of the different options that they have. So time will tell on that one. And that is all I have.
I have an observation, especially in the Taunton River stabilization wall. The other day when I was driving into the city, traffic was slow, and it's the time of year where there's no trees, no leaves, and I'm looking down the river, and I believe it's immediately behind the little gas station. Metal sheathing riprap.
Oh yeah, behind that gas station near the old bridge?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Okay, and that's one of the things I had suggested to them, why we couldn't just drive the metal interlocking steel into the river. They do that for docks and piers.
Yeah, I think what their reply to that was they were thinking the water would get behind that. Is that what they were saying on that? They thought the water might get behind
The
it?
water doesn't get behind it if you put it in right.
Yeah. I think that might have been their reply, no positive on it.
So,
Yeah.
it was just, I had corner of my eye, caught it, and we had to get stopped, and I noticed it, and then as I went by, I realized it was behind the gas station.
Yeah.
Well, as usual, you're complete, concise, got everything in there. Anything else?
How does that?
This is gonna be a mild meeting. No new business,
No?
other than the fact that next weekend coming up is daylight savings time. And the weather is getting nice, and hope everybody's feeling well. I've had my 2 shots. I am officially huggable. I gotta be careful when I say that. Get in trouble.
I had a couple of employees ask when we might be ready because we are considered essential personnel. So I did ask Matt Tanis. He says we're part of phase 2. So.
Yeah. I did have a slight reaction to it, but not much. Old business. Anything, Joseph?
None.
No emergency business, no commission report, no public forum, the first time is in here. Well, if there being nothing, we'll just be looking for a motion to adjourn for the purpose of performing administrative duties and no other business to be attended to.
I'll motion that.
Moved by Mr. Dickel, seconded by Mr. Betancourt. At 6:19, we conclude this evening's meeting. Thank you so very much. Stay safe.